One of the companies that's scanning your face at the airport, processing millions of data points and profiles at the borders and in airports is BigBear.AI. Big Bear, or is it Big Brother? No, it's Big Bear. That's right. When we get into Big Bear stock today, guys, we had an analysis going on the stock starting at around $1.50, and we've seen it push up to this really consistent pattern throughout the past few months, and then recently shot up big time. We have a long-term position in Big Bear on Charles Schwab. And then when we look at this surge that's happened, it recently started pushing up to $10.50. And we see that it is in this consistent trend. It's really got this rising support. It started back here at about $3.77. It shot up to $8.61, back down to about $6, up to $9, back down to $7.50, and then you can see it's at $9.81. So it's starting to push up even more. When I look at this, it's interesting. It's possible that this hyper bullish case would be that it's going to go up to $11 or more. Again, it's going to continue up. I believe that the long term, let's say next few months or next year or so, look very bullish, and we'll get into why. The market, we're going to look at some of the 3-point analysis of technicals here, the charts and the news, as well as the financials. And then we'll talk about, where we see BigBear.AI going here in the future. But BigBear.AI does look a little bit overextended. I know it's up. I know it could be really bullish, but to me, it does seem quite overextended. If you look at the 200-day moving average and everything else, it's soaring. I could see it at least selling back down to here. That would be a 10% drop, so fairly significant, but it is a smaller company. You could see this would be keeping a healthy bullish trend, but if we're going to be even more hyper bullish, then we would see this trend take place. See this right here? This resistance could act as a support. We see it start to, and if it does here, then that would be indication we're seeing a hyper bullish movement. It kind of already did that. If we look at this kind of staircase, this is kind of a resistance zone, and it actually used that as a support. So it's possible that is the staircase, and we'll most likely be looking at it at market open to trade it even in its current valuations to see if we can take advantage of some of these moves. If you'd like to be there at market open, StockMate's the second link down below, and we have a great sale there if you'd like to join us at market open tomorrow, Friday. Now, one of the things about Big Bear is their financials. If we look at BBAI stock here, you can see their financials market cap of about $2.5 billion, and their financials indicate that year over year, if we go quarter through quarter, year over year usually looks pretty green. We see this revenue here, 39 million in that quarter in June, and then that quarter there, 41 million. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good, 41 million per quarter. They're bringing in some revenue. Net income still down a little bit. Net profit margins, negative 29%, which isn't too bad. They're in some of the most powerful segments of the US government. And I want to bring that up here as we get into from the financials. It's not looking insane, but it's definitely starting to heat up a little bit with the revenue. So we'll see if some of these new contracts that they get are going to kick in. The other thing is it says they got 480 employees. That's good. Now, when we look at Big Bear's news, so that's financials, but if we're getting into the news and we're actually looking at what's happening, well, before we even look at the website, realize now more than ever, there's so many hype articles. So be careful. Everything is going to give you price targets, this and that. Make sure to think for yourself. I actually just got off a call today. One of the biggest things that we went through when I was talking with this member of our YouTube community, every once in a while, I talk with our YouTube community members or stockmates on the phone, and I asked them about what's working, what's not working. And one of the things was that this member was having trouble thinking for himself to make decisions and actually listening to a lot of news or different articles or what people are telling him to buy, and it wasn't working out too well. And so one of the things that I want to encourage you to do, take this information, look at a 3-point analysis of the market that's growing, this analysis of chart fundamentals and financials, and then the plan that we look at the end of this video, and then make your own decision, okay? Just make sure that you're investing with your own forefront of thoughts. So a higher form of decision intelligence. They're processing decision intelligence solutions for national security, digital identity, supply chains and logistics, enterprise operations, and manned and unmanned teams in autonomous systems. One of the key indicators for this company is that they're in government and defense, and that they're on demand with that Oasis Plus, that IDIQ contract. So after they got that Oasis Plus earlier, just at the end of 2024, they got a few new contracts rolled in. They got this U.S. Navy contract, U.S. Department of Navy Seaports. This is a U.S. Department of Defense and federal agencies AI powered solution partnership. So that's there. You can see Kevin McLean, Kevin McAlanen, that's his name. This award reflects our continued dedication to our nation's defense efforts, and we're honored to contribute our capabilities to the critical missions of the U.S. Navy. There was two things I wanted to talk about from Big Bear today specifically. One of the things that we're looking at in the news, we've seen the Army contracts, we've seen the Department of Defense, Secretary of Defense, and just seeing them really start to break into Denver International Airport, into Heathrow Airport, and deploying that facial scanning. They're getting into it. But one of the things that you have to look at too is that they could potentially be working in what will be hospitals, in the medical field. And this is actually where it gets kind of interesting, because I was talking with Gene Inger yesterday, and we were on the phone for about 2 hours. And Gene Inger is one of the most established and well-rounded analysts in the world when it comes to financial news and analysis and looking at the markets. He's one of the first pioneers at CNBC, and I was on the phone with him for about 2 hours the other day, and we were talking about Big Bear. He said that Big Bear is going to a medical conference. So here's events archive. Let's see, there's a medical conference. I was wondering if I could find it. Is it the health fair? I'm not quite sure, but they're going to a conference that's full of a lot of other medical companies. And the reason that's interesting is because Palantir is expanding a lot into healthcare and life sciences. You can see they have it here on their website. Part of the reason why is because, and you can see they have their, this is Big Bear's Pro Model data analytics and modeling are being used to accelerate drug development, manufacturing, and streamline supply chains. But one of the things to think about, Palantir is working with Boston Hospital. I think it's a $100 million plus contract. And when you look at that Boston Hospital, they're matching up the right doctors with the right patients that need the right care and scheduling those doctors on autopilot using AI. And so if Big Bear gets into the medical and hospital staffing, you can see it's mentioned here, hospital staffing, facility design, that could be very crucial for the growth of the company. Getting into that industry, along with the Department of Defense, along with the government and being in the airports. You can see the Pentagon here, operational decisions. They got a lot of cyber solutions and data analytics, being able to process millions of data points and identify threats, having decision-ready information, predictive analysis. Those are the types of things they're in. Now, if that expands outside of, let's say, this travel or government and defense, outside of DoD, and it goes into hospitals, it goes into healthcare, hey, that's a really powerful position to be in as a company. And so we'll have to see how that plays out. So those are some of the news, the financials, and then the chart. The chart, we see this stair step. What's next for Big Bear? What I would anticipate is that we would see well, this right here, this line, we want to make sure that it holds this previous resistance that oftentimes will act as a support. Let's see how well it holds at market open tomorrow, Friday. If it holds this level, we could have indication that we might trade it and see a continuation up as it's in that hyper bullish type of trend. If it's not holding this level and we see it break below, potentially we'll be a little more patient to see where it finds its next support before entering. Now, we'll see what happens at market open. If you guys want to be there, there's a lot of opportunities that present themselves, and we go live every single morning in Stockmate. If you'd like to be there, it's that second link down below, and we have a sale there. If you click the second link, you can take a look. Would encourage you to check out quarterly. We also got lifetime access. Lifetime access is going away soon. We have lifetime access for now, but most likely will be yearly or quarterly moving forward as you get access to watch me trade live every morning. So it is an ongoing basis thing, and we're upgrading, we're adding new things all the time. So we got to keep that in mind. The other thing inside of Stockmate, if we jump in to the earnings, it's important to look at some of the earnings, and we drop exclusive earnings reports with targets for all stocks in Stockmate. And you can see some of our members talking CTM there, see what that's about. But we have price targets, and we have current price as well as future price of what we would be looking at for the company depending on the earnings. Some of the earnings that are coming out, we got Moderna tomorrow, and then we had Twilio, Coinbase after hours today. If you guys would like to get access to some of those reports and get books on mindset, even talking about taxes for some of our higher income individuals, we relay a conversation there, then I would encourage you to simply take a look at the second link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you all. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.